IDS 301. Um, hey, how's it going? I'm leaving my glasses like this. It looks very stupid, but sun's pretty bright this morning. I'm at a really nice park in Carefree, Arizona, north of Phoenix. Beautiful, actually. I just dragged my chair out, parked the Jeep, and everything sets up nice here. So I thought I'd do the video right here. Welcome to Module 5. Starts today, right? Let me see if we can go over a few things here. All right. So the deal with extensions, everybody wants to know. Well, yeah, it's my own Pandora's box that I opened up by offering, kind of a gray area due date thing. So, um, but here, I kind of like wanted to outthink everybody. You know that meme, that guy going, eh? I could make the due dates all the Tuesday nights and then say no extensions, and everybody gets mad because they fall behind. So I make it Sunday, and then everybody can ask me for extensions till Tuesday. See, it's kind of like reverse psychology, not really, but so here's the deal. All right, you do not get any more extensions if you send me an excuse. Okay, I've been saying this. I've been saying this for 10 damn years. No, I've been saying this. You don't have to give me an excuse because ever since Aristotle was a student of Plato, probably, um, students were coming up with excuses, right? That they didn't get the work done. Fine, whatever. I don't want to be judge, jury, and say, no, your nausea is not enough. You're food poisoning. I can't believe it. Your job. I don't know. If I say I don't care, I say that in the most empathetic way possible. I understand completely because I've been there. I was a single dad, raising two sons by myself 24/7, going to college at 52 years old. Okay. So trust me, I didn't have the energy. But enough about me. This is about you. Okay. So no more extensions if you send me an excuse. What does that mean? It means don't send me an excuse. Just say, Dear Professor Fair, I would like an extension until Tuesday before midnight on X assignment. I even put it in emails. I know I left blanks. That's all you got to do. All right. Because technically, I make the due dates Tuesday night. You don't know that. You just think it's Sunday. So, the 16 people who turned in their maps won on time. I appreciate it. Um, the other 62 people in the course, I'm sure most will get it in tomorrow at some point. So I just want to make that clear. So just say you're going to take the extension. Okay, I know this is all weird, right? I mean, but trust me, if I made the deadline Tuesday nights, people would still be asking me for extensions. Okay, so you don't get any extensions after Tuesday. It's 10% per day. Okay, up to about what is it? The end of the module, so 5 days or whatever, and then no more accepting it. Okay, the course ends October what 11th or something. There's no extensions after that. The reason I'm doing this, by the way, is because let's be frank here. Okay, I'm not sitting here and expect you to hit all these deadlines, and then I'm going to go, well, let me score these when I get around to it. No, it's hard for me to score papers uh, genuinely, with effort to look at what you're writing. So I know I can't score them all at once. So, it takes me a few days. So I get a few days, you get a few days, right? How's that? Okay. So, all right. Just taking a look at the intellectual autobiographies that are behind us. Um, they were good. Guys did a good job. Some it was difficult, I think, for some people to talk about themselves like that. Actually got a third person intellectual autobiography. Never got one of those before. Kind of hard to read that. It's about yourself. It's an autobiography, not a biography. So you're not writing about, General George Custer. You're writing about yourself. Therefore, you use I's, me's, my's, all that stuff. It's fine. Um, it wasn't a lot. I won't say it wasn't a lot. I'm saying I want you to reconsider, not redo it, of course, or anything, but think about this. It was an intellectual autobiography. Okay, it wasn't your athletic autobiography. And I know everybody does athletics. It's part of our culture. It's a big part of our lives. Big part of what makes us into adults. But um, it's an intellectual autobiography. So it's about those things which occurred in your over your lifetime that inform you intellectually. They help to develop who you are. Anyways, let's move forward on that. Like I said, overall, they're really good. Thanks for sharing. All right, so let's look at module one, module five. Page one is the learning objectives. So learning objectives, by the end of this module, students will be able to provide evidence of integrative thinking and to apply at least one model framework of integration. Okay, so we'll show you how we're going to get through that. We're getting into more, okay, so let's take a look. I've actually hooked up to the internet. We've got this video, which will have 3 Easter eggs. Okay, learning materials. Read the following. The integrative core. This is the final chapter of Klein's text, discusses the nature of integration as a process. Remember we've been talking about that? Interdisciplinary studies, interdisciplinary equals what? Integration, right? Integration is what? It's a process, okay? And Klein talks about that, Julianne Klein. She's alive and kicking and doing well in the East Coast somewhere, I think. All right. So, and talks about what characteristics are associated with effective interdisciplinarians. All right. Then there's Newell. Newell's like our top guy. He just passed away this past summer. Newell was a giant in the industry, I guess. A theory of interdisciplinary studies. Okay. It's a nice summary of his model. All right. And we're going to be focusing more on his model in 302. We just like it. It's a great, solid model to use. Read that. You can begin on page 14 of the handout. Okay. Then I want you to take a look at the attachment that I put in of Repko, Newell, and Klein. So you can get an example of Repko's process, Newell's process, Klein's process. Okay. Klein's is the integrative core. Newell is the 7 steps, and Repko is something else. I just can't think in the morning sometimes. Okay, and then there's Newell's model worksheet, pages 90 to 102. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to complete it, but it's a worksheet that gives you important interdisciplinary information. You'll see the 7-step model beginning on 93, study pages 97 to 102 especially. It's a worksheet, but you don't have to fill it out, all right? Uh-oh, I got a BIS in there. I got to change that. That one snuck in there. Okay. Remember, we're IDS, right? Now let me get into the discussion, all right? This discussion, I pulled this out of Mother Jones magazine online last year, I think, and it's about, I think it's very interesting. North Dakota, the top prison law enforcement officials in North Dakota happen to be women. Great. They happen to connect with some folks in Norway who are doing some very progressive things in terms of prison, in terms of jails, in terms of changing the way they look at things over there, and it was working. So North Dakota said, hey, let's try Norway's model here. Let's see if that works, right? Very good article to see whether or not you have any interest in law enforcement as a future career background. I've been in that chain of command. I know a few of you have as well, whether it's in military or other. And, it's interesting to note because that environment is very, it's interesting because it can be chaotic on one hand, but on the other hand, it has to be very documented. You have to know how to write reports, forms. You have to really be able to communicate in ways that's going to hold up in court. That's a big difference in terms of that field. But look at that Norway experiment, read about that, and then identify some of the disciplines that you see being used in this, okay? It gives you a chance to think about disciplines. Remember, disciplines we're talking about, right? You know what they are. Now I don't have to go over that, right? All right. You could identify some other disciplines you think might be missing, but in your opinion could positively impact this project, all right? Now, using some of the steps of Newell's 7 steps to integration, examine this issue from an interdisciplinary perspective. You could eliminate step 1. I eliminated step 1, I guess, by having it there. So 2, 3, and 6. All right, very simple, but it gives you some kind of at least structure to your response in the discussion board. Okay, so step 2 is you're going to form an interdisciplinary question because you already got struck by a complex problem, right? I went to a interdisciplinary studies conference, and outside in the parking lot, It was a hit and run. I was struck by a complex problem. There's one for the folks. Hold on a second here. All right. Can I erase that? Can we do that again? Um, I'm asking my production team of me. All right. And then, okay, you're going to gather all 11 disciplines, evaluate the insights, respond to 3 other peers, 50 points possible, do a good job, do good work. Okay. Let's take a look at, um, at Easter egg number 1. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw this, but on Saturday, ASU did something that no one thought was going to happen. I mean, they took down Michigan State in East Lansing, I think it is, right? Um, and it's just amazing to me that they won. I grew up in Wisconsin, so I know the Big Ten. Michigan State has been a second-tier powerhouse there, and this is a sports segment of the show. Uh, and one of our classmates, Cody, is on the team, and I'm really proud of our guys and what they did up there. They beat Michigan State here last year, and then up there this year. That's great. Now they're ranked. Coach Herm, I mean Marvin Lewis, they're running a pro team over there, and it really helps to elevate Arizona State's um, exposure in the country, because we all know the East Coast doesn't recognize what's going out west, right? So Easter egg number 1 is Arizona State University. Say it loud, be proud. Okay. All right. So we talked about that. Now let's go into the maps 2. Obviously, I didn't score the maps 1 yet. Okay. But your maps 2, let's bring that up here. Okay. Maps 2, you're going to do the same format. Okay. And that is you're going to do key concepts and current theories. Key concepts, current theories. Okay. 20 points for key concepts in concentration number 1, 20 points for key concepts, current theories in concentration number 1. Reference list, bottom of the next page, next paper is key concepts of number 2 concentration and current theories of number 2 concentration, meaning 20, 40, 60, 80. And then I'm doing 20 points for your formatting, grammar, spelling, all kinds of good stuff there, okay, for the entire paper. Again, if you're having trouble, look at the samples I posted in Module 4, right? You remember those? They're there, okay? It's the same format. You can do it. Key concepts, current theories. Remember what we're doing here is we're learning about your concentrations. And again, let's do this. Let's go Easter egg number 2. And let's say Easter egg number 2 is no I, me, my. I think I did this one already. Doing it again. No I, my. I want you to remember that, because it is important in writing this. Because if you start using that, not only is it not really scholarly writing, but what it's going to tell me is that you're just going to be regurgitating stuff you already know. You didn't come to this program just checking in and checking out with a degree. You came here to learn stuff, right, that you didn't know before. That's what we all do. Lifetime learners try to learn stuff we didn't know before. So this is under the assumption that you don't know a lot about your concentrations. You're here to learn it through your classes you're taking. But I also want you to delve into this and tell yourself, teach yourself about what are the current theories, the key concepts in your field. And you're going to use sources for that, right? Because if John Doe tells me that key concepts of dentistry is bridge, molar, all that stuff. What do you do dentistry as a hobby when you're a kid? No, you got to learn about it now going into your concentrations as academics. Okay, so let's go with that. Now, the maps, where are we at here? 14 and a half minutes. We're doing well. All right, so maps 2, I think you got that. It's not, like I said, not that difficult. This all used to be one paper. All right, so I really appreciate it. I want you to step up your game on these papers, because it's going to help you. You're going to use primary sources. The more the merrier, okay? You're going to use your textbooks are primary sources. They had to get approved to get used, all right? That means peer reviewed. You go into the library, ASU library website. and you search under your whatever search words you want to use. And on the right side, I think it is, there's a filter. It's filter for peer reviewed and filter for full text online. That way you have it right there. No paywalls, no going to the library. Bam, you got it. All right, then you go through it and see what fits. All right. I don't want a bunch of sources where you're just using. This happens every year. You get a bunch of sources and everybody's using like page XXI and XII and I because you're not getting even to the table of contents. You're just grabbing whatever you can of the introductory pages. It's an end around. You don't see a lot of that. Okay, in real life, you're in real life now, academically speaking. And I want you to step up your game. I want you to delve into these things. All right, you don't have to read books and things, but you need to know how to find it. You guys are good. You're Generation Z, most of you, right? So that means you grew up with all this stuff. You know how to search things. You know how to find things. You know that learning is different for you than it was for my generation. We're more memorization, more had to keep it inside. You have to have a framework of how to find answers. Okay. So, example, my friends still say, "Oh, what was that song? Oh, what is the name of that song?" And they're having these big debates about it. And I pull out my phone and hit Shazam, and even that's probably archaic now. And I'm like, "Hey, here it is, John Sebastian, Four of Us, 1969, or whatever." Um, you have to know how to find those things, answers. We used to have to memorize what they were, right? All right. So, on that being said, let's go with Easter egg number 3, and that is let's go back to that one of use primary sources. Okay, and I just want to comment on what primary sources are. It's not going to be anything with blog in it, anywhere in the link, anywhere. It's not going to be a website that has revenue and advertising because that has bias. It's not peer reviewed. It just means they want to make money. It's not going to be a website like Chron.com. I love the Chronicle. It's Houston newspaper, fabulous, great website. Can't use it. It's not going to be Investopedia. It's not going to be Forbes. Okay, these are common ones that I get. It's not going to be the dictionary.com or encyclopedia.com. Lord help me if anybody starts sending me those because that is, I hate to say it, but it's weak because you're good now. You've stepped up from amateur hour and now you're into the big leagues now. So you got to find your the experts in your field. And you got to know where they are, and they're not in these places that that the layman's terms, right? So that's Easter egg number 3. I'll say it again. Use primary sources. You guys have a good one. I'm heading in the Tempe campus. I just didn't want to pay for parking this extra time. And I'll be around Monday and Wednesday down here and then back on the road. All right. So peace. Forks up. See you later.